Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is Tuesday night, December the 2nd, time for the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9. We stream every night at 9 o'clock and also weekdays at 2:30 and 8:30 in the morning to give you the weather and only the weather. This is a more specialized program here for you with a little more information and other stuff that we don't have time to do over on TV. I'm watching your comments on the 14 News Facebook page, so chime in with whatever you like, and we'll check those here in a bit. We had a decent snow overnight, particularly in western Kentucky. Many spots around Owensboro, Greenville, Hartford had between 2 and 3 inches of snow, even the west end or east end of Owensboro close to 3. And then it staggered down pretty quickly. Around an inch fell across the Evansville metro area. We had 0.8 inches, 0.8 of an inch at Evansville Regional Airport was the official amount. And then farther north, Princeton there about 3/4 of an inch too. Looking ahead, we have a clearing trend trying to kick in overnight. It won't last. Temperatures will fall into the upper teens, and then we have milder weather tomorrow, milder being closer to 40 during the afternoon, and colder again Thursday. We have another clipper that's going to dive in here and reinforce the cold air. Still a chance of snow or rain and snow on Sunday. The models kind of flip-flopped this afternoon and eliminated all the snow potential for Sunday, while earlier runs on both models were showing at least a fair shot at snow. So we'll dig into that, the whys and wherefores, as the old my old German teacher Frau Beck used to say. We'll get into that in just a second. Cloud cover is still over the region. We do have some breaks in the clouds. I don't think we're going to see wholesale clearing overnight, despite what the model is showing you here. We won't see that until midday tomorrow and through the afternoon. That south breeze will help warm us up, but it'll also put just enough moisture in the atmosphere that influx of Arctic air with the clipper will cloud things up again, and maybe even a few snow showers or flurries. By Thursday night, we are clouded over and will remain cloudy then through much of the day on Friday. All of our snow has now moved off the screen here well to the east, and so we concentrate on our conditions right now. We're at 23 degrees, no wind out there, and our low today, it is 23, so we're as cold as it has been since midnight. We did get to 32. However, it was one of those days where the high temperature occurred at midnight and temperatures pretty much fell or flatlined during the day in the middle 20s. So by far the coldest day we've had so far this fall or this season. Our high temperature, or our temperature change, 9 degrees cooler than it was yesterday at this time. And our degrees below normal on the low end were 9 below, and that high nearly 20 degrees, 18 degrees colder than that typical high of 50. That means for the month now we have 2 days where we scarcely got to freezing or above. It was 35 yesterday, and we've had 0.9 of an inch of liquid equivalent. As I told you, we had 0.8 of an inch of snow at Evansville Regional as the official measure for the month. Now 0.9 when you melt it all down. We are still at a surplus of nearly 10.5 inches for the year, and we are much colder than normal here for the first 2 days of December by about 11 degrees. Your commute tomorrow, less dodgy than it was today. There shouldn't be any slick spots out there. I mean, we can't rule it out, but there wouldn't be widespread travel problems by any stretch of the imagination. Back to our northwest, that clipper starting to press down. It is kicking in some snow showers across the upper Midwest there into the Dakotas. And so basically tomorrow we sandwich a high pressure in there just long enough to turn our wind to the south. But here comes that cold front, and it will snuff out the warm air by tomorrow night, so that by Thursday morning it will be bone-chillingly cold again, with highs only in the 20s during the afternoon. As all that mess moves east, the high pressure, the return flow behind it will start to bring milder air in for the weekend. Friday we get up to 37, Saturday 42, our warmest day, at least until next week. And then there's that rain snow chance still lurking on Sunday. All right, let me show you these two models here. You know, we look at the GFS and the European for longer range forecasting, and I like to show both here on the First Alert Weather Show at 9 to kind of give you context so you know what we're thinking. And at 2:30 today, I was singing the praises of the GFS because it did a pretty good job with the snow that we had this morning. It was highlighting that back on Saturday. So let's see how the GFS is handling the weekend now. And where we did have this wintry system moving across the Ohio Valley, now we just see clouds through the day Saturday and really little, if any, chance for snow coming in. It will not surprise me at all if we see a complete reversal and a return to that previous trend tomorrow. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But in the interim, it looks like we will wait then until midweek, Wednesday, Thursday, to get rain across the tri-state, as by then temperatures will be in the 40s. The European model, again, dry and cloudy there through Thursday, Friday. And then its take on the wintry threat for Sunday is very late, like say midnight Sunday going into Monday, and it keeps the tri-state for the most part in rain with that changeover line basically along and north of I-64. And it brings just sort of a glancing blow of that wintry precip through before we dry out Monday and Tuesday. So it's a head scratcher. It always is when you're looking out 6-7 days. Did I just say 6-7? How about that? You know what I mean, though. The longer we go on these long-range models, they become a little more variable there and flip-floppy too. Down to 20 degrees tonight, the high temp tomorrow up to 41. We will have winds out of the southwest and some sunshine popping through there. Then we get into that very cold Thursday with a high of 31, maybe even upper 20s. Friday 37, and then over the weekend a little more moderation in the temps there, 42, 39 with that rain snow chance indicated there on Sunday. And the longer range temperature outlook, this takes us up through the middle of the month there, the 16th of December, still colder than normal across the area and drier than normal. So that would, A, tell me more than likely no severe weather, which is always a good thing, and secondly, no rain or snow, or at least not much. Our pet pick tonight, now this is timely. Yes, I think yesterday I was complaining that we didn't have any pictures over on 14news.com in the submit photos section. I went in there today and we've got a bunch of them now, so thank you. I appreciate that, and I want to show your pictures, you know, so if you send them in, I'll put them up here. This is Paisley. Paisley is a frequent flyer here on the First Alert Weather Show at 9. And this, I think he's wearing Carhartts there, maybe. My daughter's dog, yeah, they are. Wears little Carhartts when she goes out in the snow. But anyway, Paisley's enjoying the snow out there. I hope you did too. You might not have been quite as rambunctious as Paisley, but then again, who among us is anymore? You know, I didn't even slide down the big hill in front of my house. I could have today. Last year, I really did a number on my back, and I thought, you know, do I have a video that a lot of people like and comment on, or do I, you know, not feel my legs for the next couple of years? Because after I hit that big bump, I was really, really in pain. I didn't show it on camera. I kind of faked it there as best I could. I wanted to cry, but I'm told big boys don't do that. So anyway, maybe I'll get my courage back and go down the hill. But for those of you who have turned 60 or greater, it gets a little more fraught doing that. I love to sled, but I really don't like back injuries. It's not a good thing. All right, let's see what your questions and comments are here this evening. We've got good evening there from Zach Seats. Angela Lamar says hi. Hey, Angela. Cheyenne Hammond's in there. Good evening. Jimmy Dean says hello. Good to hear from you, Jimmy. Paula Schaefer, good evening. And Jim Garland, good evening. Let's see. Jeff Miller picked up half an inch of snow in Saval. So you were probably just far enough north there that you got even less than they did, say, in Mount Vernon, or we did here in Evansville on the west side. Part of the reason the snow forecasting is tricky is it has to do a lot with the water to snow ratio. Now, you know, a lot of people will tell you, well, it's always 10 inches of snow to 1 inch of rain. Well, anytime you use always, it's almost never always. There's always exceptions. And the exception here has to do with the air temperature when the snow begins and also the humidity or moisture content in the atmosphere. So let's suppose the temperature were closer to or maybe even above freezing, and we can have snow at 34 degrees. If the air aloft is very cold, it will force it down, and that tends to be very wet, heavy snow, kind of what we typically would get sort of late winter in March and maybe late February. But we can get wet, heavy snow at just about any time. That's also that good packing snow, you know, the kind that you shovel and it instantly compacts into a big, heavy blob. It typically weighs about 20 pounds per cubic foot. That's why it's called a heart attack snow. When you try to lift that, if you're cold with your snow shovel, you can get into trouble. Typical snow, like we had last night, happens around 25 to 30 degrees, and it tends to weigh about 10 pounds per cubic foot, and we get a ratio there of about 10 to 1. The wet, heavy snow was a ratio of around 6 to 1 on average. And then we have the very dry, fluffy, light snow like they get out west in the ski resorts, higher elevations. Here we go with the sneezes and coughs again. We tend to get that fluffy snow. And dry snow can weigh as little as 3 pounds per cubic foot, and you can also see a ratio of up to 20 to 1 on that. So it can really produce some beautiful snow that can oftentimes be taken care of with a leaf blower if you get at it quick enough. Remember that our wintry precip types hinge a lot on how the atmosphere is stacked at the particular time it starts. Nice thick layer of cold air, you're going to get snow. If there's any intervening warm air off the surface, then we would get either sleet or freezing rain. Remember, sleet bounces when it hits the ground, whereas freezing rain coats and freezes on contact. Our first snow this year, it actually happened on November the 10th. We had 3/10 of an inch. So we had a very early first snow this year, but we followed it up pretty quickly with a second, more significant round of wintry weather out there. I think it foretells a lousy winter. I don't think that's scientific. Well, I think it's going to be an active winter. How about that on the snow side? Let's see. Billy Johnson's glad we built the interstate, otherwise the weather wouldn't know where to go. Yeah, isn't that something? You know, before I-64 was up there, like pre-1975 or so, you wonder what they, I guess they use like either the Patoka River, the Gibson County line, the White County line. There must have been a landmark to use to, you know, line of demarcation between the heavy snow and the non-snow. But the interstates do make it a lot easier now. They're landmarks everybody knows, and so if I say along I-64, nearly everybody, at least here in the tri-state, would know approximately where that is, or should. So anyhow, that's all I have for you tonight. I appreciate you watching the First Alert Weather Show at 9 o'clock, and I will see you over on TV on 14 News at 10. Please stay safe. Have a good night.